せるか。行け。終わりだ。
Being a fan of the beautiful anime adaptations of the Fate Stay series, I was excited to hear that there would be a Western release for Fate Extella. After vigorous hours of playing, we have successfully come to a conclusion. Welcome to Hackinformer HD, and this is your Fate Extella review. The story takes place after Fate Extra in an alternative timeline. The servant Nero Claudius has won the Holy Grail War that took place on the moon and now controls all the servants who were once their enemy. After starting a new beginning on the moon, it seems a new enemy appears. Overall, the game provides a pretty good amount of story in this alternative timeline. It is brought to you well and keeps you intrigued the entire time. The players told a narrative from 3 different factions with very unique perspectives. In addition, there are several side stories about the supporting servants that are well worth experiencing. The writer of Fate Stay Night, Kinniku Natsu, was actively involved in the Extella project. Thanks to this, you can bet that Extella stays true and faithful to the Fate franchise. I give this story a 5 out of 5. The gameplay will seem familiar if you ever experienced a Dynasty Warriors game. This is the same formula as the vast majority of those games with just a few tweaks. It's not necessarily a turnoff by any means, but however, if you're not a fan of the combat and gameplay, it's safe to say that you may not entirely enjoy the game. The gameplay formula goes as such. You are dropped into an area and have to take over the specified area to fight the aggressors. You then have to defeat the aggressors to achieve complete victory. After defeating the aggressors, a boss in the form of a servant will appear for you to fight and defeat. There are also side missions to complete, which provides awards once completed. This is basically the same formula for every single level. You have normal attacks, power attacks, special attacks, jump, guard, powered up forms, and even ultimate attacks. The combat system is something any level of gamer can master from only playing the first level. While it's all simple, it can become very repetitive, especially if you don't like this type of gameplay. I believe this gameplay deserves a reasonable 3 out of 5. I just have to say, well done to the game developers. This game actually looks quite impressive on both the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. There may be better looking games out there, but this one does hold on its own. For the PlayStation 4, it looks up to par with modern standards. The Vita version seems to skimp out on some graphical details and lighting effects, but considering the difference in hardware, it makes sense. Taking all this into consideration, visuals gets a 4 out of 5. Now in the audio department, the game does a pretty good job to deliver on whatever platform is played on. The music is very entertaining and quickly gets you in the mood when fighting large amounts of enemies. The game's characters are fully voiced in Japanese, but there are English subtitles. Some people may not like hearing a language they do not understand, but others aren't really bothered considering they've watched the anime and mastered reading subtitles. Seeing as the subtitles don't bother me, I give the audio a solid 5 out of 5. The game's story is told from multiple viewpoints. After completing a story for one servant in the game, you can unlock a new story for another. This changes the game quite a lot, as not only are you told the story from a different perspective, but you are also forced to adapt to a new combat style. There's also a ton of side stories as well as a free battle mode. To put it short, there's a ton of stuff to unlock and progress through. The replay value is rather high and deserves a score of 5 out of 5. Now, is the game fun? I enjoyed this game a great deal, and I think if you have some patience, then you could get through the repetitive factors. To conclude, Fate Extella is a welcome entry to the Fate franchise. I feel like the release for the game was well timed in the US and EU regions. If this game was released about a week later, then it would have been buried with huge amounts of other release titles. With its amazing story, satisfying visuals, and killer audio, we have awarded it a solid 22 out of 25. While the gameplay is simple and can become very wearing, Extella is still a very good way to kick off the year. Now I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If this review was in any way informative, please leave a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hope you guys have an amazing day. This is Just the Ray, signing out.